Welcome to Elk Week out at Fresh Tracks. Today, this video is about us trying to calibrate where I'm at, and Jace is along with me. I know his calibration is going to be way higher than mine, but we're trying to calibrate where are we at right now, so that if we were to shoot an elk in early September and it's hot, what's the responsible thing to do? How far should we really think about shooting something? Because it's going to spoil if we don't get it out in time. Everybody says, oh, I'll get it out in 2 loads, or I'll get it out in 4 hours. Now, we've done this enough. We're doing our own assessment here, but we'd suggest you do the same thing. So through this video, you're going to hear a bunch of questions. Marcus is going to grill me with a bunch of things that are very relevant. Stay tuned. See if I survive. That can't be right, can it?
I can't see it. I don't know what
66.
66. Oh boy.
Is that what that says?
Wouldn't it be the top line?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tick over 65. 66.
Randy's shooting a big bull.
Big balls only.
Big mountain bull.
That big old Wyoming bull. Oh, if we're being technical, 53 pounds.
53? Is that you're just shooting a raghorn this year?
Hell yeah, I'm shooting a cow, boning her out.
My wife gave me a really big hug when I walked out the door this morning, like she's afraid I wasn't coming back or something. We ready for this? Do I get to use trekking poles at least?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Randy's even getting a stretching in.
I'm prepping for cameraman season, so I'm going no trekking poles. So I usually don't use trekking poles when I'm filming, so.
Those legs haven't seen a whole lot of sun yet this year, it doesn't look like.
I haven't seen a lot of sun since I was a teenager. What do you mean this year? If this was an elk, first thought would be, where are the llamas? Second thought is, who thought this was a good idea? Third thought is, if I'm by myself, this is 4 trips. If I have a good friend, maybe it's 2 trips. Yeah, here we're carrying it all uphill, as if we shot it down in a canyon or down 3 divides over. That's another thought that you want to keep in mind is, am I taking my heavy loads uphill or taking my heavy loads downhill? Because there's a world of difference packing 1,000 feet out of a canyon with a heavy load versus going 1,000 feet of vertical downhill with a heavy load. And if you hunt with Marcus, he'll say, just shoot it, we'll figure it out. But we're here to think about the responsible thing to do for your meat care and warm weather. And if you hunt with our grizzly bears, there's all kinds of reasons why you want to be able to get that elk out fast. And what's your body realistically capable of doing. This is what I'd call an improved trail. A lot of times you're doing that, or doing an elk load, bushwhacking.
Yeah.
An improved trail is almost like walking down the sidewalk compared to cross country, and it
makes it a heck of a lot easier, that's for sure.
Yeah. Jace, I usually do this with about 8 pounds of water when I'm trying to build cardio. And then when I'm trying to build a little more strength and endurance, I add about 25 pounds of weight to all that. But what this is telling me today, this is more like a hind quarter off a bull elk. And my other training is maybe halfway there.
The other training is hiking into the elk on a day hunt.
Yeah.
Now we're coming out heavy.
Yeah. See, it's day 4 of a backpack hunt. You've been eating, dehydrated food for a while. You keep thinking, oh, I'll get the calories back when I get to the truck when we're done.
Probably not much water.
Right. It's been 80 degrees. It's early September. You're dehydrated. I left the truck down there probably in better nutrition and hydration than I ever would on an elk hunt.
Exactly. Yep.
And I already feel like I'm packing you up this hill. And you're probably thinking, am I gonna have to push him up this hill? If there's one thing I've learned as I've gotten older is if I try to go even just a little bit faster than my body says, I wear myself out really fast. Whole new set of muscles going downhill, Jace.
Yeah.
Trying not to bend over like an old 95-year-old. We're gonna send this to your doctor, Marcus.
Oh, she's all about it. She's telling me to go do this. The downhill is the hard part if you recently tore your patellar tendon, so figuring that out. But
You gonna buy another ski pass for the winter?
yeah, but I'll probably stop jumping off cliffs.
Retired cliff jumper.
Probably.
Marcus. Card-carrying member of the Destroyed Knees Club of the Cliff Jumpers of Bridger Bowl. Right now, Jace, this downhill stuff makes me wishing I was doing it. I was into the Bulgarians in my program, because in the PP 50 Plus that they built out that I was in, did last year, they have a lot of weighted Bulgarians and stuff, and it's in the last half. And I'm about halfway through, and coming downhill with all this weight, you just use such different muscles that I'm like, uh-oh. But I guess that's one thing about that workout program that they did for me and a lot of the other Mountain Tough stuff is even if you don't live in Montana where you can just run to a mountain and do this, it's definitely going to focus on the muscle groups that you are going to realize you need to work on once you start. Like right now, I'm like, man, if I had to do this for another 5 miles, even downhill.
Heavyweight downhill, in your head you just go, oh, it's downhill, thank God, it's easy.
Yeah.
But then you start doing it and all these different muscles start firing and you realize how quickly it becomes miserable too, like up or down.
Yeah, and then your muscles get so fatigued you can't absorb a lot of the shock. So your knees and ankles and hips and back just take a beating when you're out of shape like that. But... Ready?
Let's do it.
All right. I think I'm gonna make it. Here's one thing I'm realizing is that we'll probably only have done 2 miles when we get down to the next loop. And I don't know that you got to come and test yourself for 5 miles to realize, all right, season's getting close. My feet are burning or my legs are aching, whatever it might be that you discover in just 2 miles. Well, 5 miles isn't just 2.5 times worse. It's exponential, not linear. But, all right, get going before all the dogs get on the trail. The real important part is if you get an elk down, it's your responsibility to be able to get all that meat out and take care of it. And that's where distance and topography in the human body are the determining factors of whether or not you're able to do that. And those guys who tell you they've packed a bull elk out in 1 trip are full of crap. They might have just stripped the tenderloins or something and called it a load. If you are going to do one of those deals where it comes out in 2 loads, either you and a buddy or you do 2 loads, you better be in the gym year round doing a lot of different exercises, specialization for even your toenail muscles. That was about 2 miles, gain maybe 700 feet at the most. And just that's enough to help calibrate things I got to work on, things I got to do, and the fact that it's the first part of July and I got my first hunt as an archery mule deer hunt August 18th. So we're gonna go to the lab at MTN Tough. Dustin's gonna give us some critique, some advice. Probably the one thing I'd add that is very obvious right now is break your feet in also. You know, your feet need to be trained as well as your body. They are part of your body, and my feet are feeling really good for what I've just put them through with all this weight. But don't forget that, because your feet are hitting the ground every step, and bad feet means a bad hunt. So I have no idea what Dustin's going to tell us, but he's probably going to laugh at me, but that's all right. Well, Dustin, this morning, Marcus talked me into going in and calibrating where I'm at for elk season. That is 2 months away. And you've seen me over here doing things whenever I'm not on the road, just trying to keep up a little bit and feel like strength-wise I'm doing okay. I've not made it through the entire program yet this summer. I'm halfway through it, but I'd be interested to know from what your experience has been personally, but people and users of the Mountain Tough platform, what you hear when they go out and elk hunt, that, especially backpack elk hunting, that is so much more than you can really train for in a lot of ways if you don't go about it deliberately and with a purpose.
At Mountain Tough, we talk all the time that even with Mountain Tough training, the mountain is still going to be really difficult.
Yeah.
And with Mountain Tough, our goal is so that people can thrive in the backcountry, but you're never going to be able to defeat or conquer the backcountry. It's always going to be extremely difficult. And then you have the loose terrain, the high elevation, and now you have unknown elements that are going to be thrown your way, whether that's a snowstorm or a heat wave or rock slides, landslides, river crossings. There's a lot of unknown that's just going to keep the backcountry always difficult. And so knowing that, we know that even our most well-trained Mountain Tough members, they'll still verbalize that the backcountry was hard, but they were able to thrive in there at least. If you do no training at all, that's where you're going to really see people struggle. And what we see a lot of related to what you guys did this morning is you see a lot of individuals train and never put that heavy pack on before the hunt even happens. Yeah. And so at Mountain Tough, we're always incorporating that heavy pack training, whether it's doing Bulgarians with your pack on or you're just going out for a ruck. But kind of in the general public of backcountry hunters, it is a number one mistake to make it all the way till September and you still haven't put that pack on once. The pack is just a whole different element of human performance demands going on related to your body. Your heart rate is just naturally going to come up even if you're walking the same pace. So you're crushing calories and all your systems are having to work because of that extra weight. And then it's difficult to breathe, to get a full breath with the chest strap on. Your hips are burning because of the hip strap. And you do not want to feel that the first time ever when you're going into camp or the first time you felt that heavy pack once you have an elk down. And there's a lot of physical and mental components to all of that. But what we do know is that from the mental standpoint, if you can push your body to the limits in the gym before hunting season, then mentally you're far less likely to go kind of into flight or fight or any sort of panic situation. And so redlining in the gym is like a number one way to be more mentally resilient, because redlining, you feel yourself at maximum heart rate. You feel like you might die. You can't breathe. And if you feel that on the mountain for the first time ever, it creates a big negative snowball of bad thinking and bad decision making. Yeah. But what we see with people that do it like what you did this morning, like let's go test ourselves and see where we're at, especially in this heat, then you know what all these things feel like, so that when you feel them in September, mentally you can stay a lot calmer. And mentally when you're calmer, your heart rate is lower. And so it creates a lot better scenario and decision making. So What you guys did was awesome.
Yeah. One of the things we want people to think about is elk hunting is a ton of fun. It challenges you. It pushes you. There's just so many things to it, especially archery elk hunting. And we end up in situations every year we hear about them where someone had an elk down. They didn't realize what it was like to be 3 miles, 4 miles, 5 miles away from the truck. And even if they're with a buddy, you're still looking at 2 trips with the 2 of you to get that boned out elk out of there. And you got so many things against you. You got heat, you got, just distance. You're already fatigued. You're on day 4 of the hunt, so you're dehydrated. You're not nutritional. You're in a nutritional deficit. And you got all those things working against you, and you got to make 2 8-mile round trips with a heavy load like that.
90 pounds.
Yeah, it crushes a lot of people. And then you got to try to get your camp out and all the other things. And so we just want people to be thinking about it now, because you still have a couple months.
For sure.
And a couple months can get you a long ways.
People still do have time. We're sitting right around July 1st here, and scientifically we know that like cardio adaptations and muscular maturity take a minimum of 12 weeks. And so if I trained all July, all August, and then into September, I'm going to be just shy of that 12 weeks, depending if I have a September or an October hunt.
Yeah.
But that is a significant difference that it's going to make. All training is better than no training. And so people getting out, putting that heavy pack on, putting the boots on that they're going to be hunting with, seeing how that's going to feel, is going to make a huge, huge difference.
Yeah. I just think there's so many things that if someone does an assessment right now, one, it gives them the runway to start getting closer to where they would have been if they would have started in February. But even if they live, we have the benefit of living here in Montana, and it's pretty easy for us to go find a mountain trail to go after. But you guys do at least, and this is my experience of going through the program and having a program built around old guys like me. Everything that you guys put in these programs about doing this movement, this exercise, underweight, not underweight, reversing it, being asymmetrical, seems like it has a purpose related to elk hunting, packing heavy loads, uneven terrain, distances. And you guys, even in an hour and 15-minute workout, you do push my mental capacities where I almost want to say uncle, but I don't. So if someone doesn't live in Montana, they can still do a lot of these things to get there.
For sure. Yeah, and that was the whole concept of Mountain Tough, is how can we do mission-specific training for the backcountry hunter. And part of that concept was everything we do has to have a purpose, and the purpose has to be, does this help you on the mountain or not help you on the mountain? Because there's a lot of ways to write and create really difficult workouts, but that is not our purpose. Our purpose is this individual going to be able to thrive on the mountain and then recover and thrive again on the mountain? If how we're training isn't accomplishing that mission, then we throw it out and we think of something else. And so that's always been the Mountain Tough philosophy, is we're going to test everything we do here in the lab, and we're going to make sure it actually helps individuals perform better on the mountain. And if it doesn't, we're going to train a different way. And if it does, we're going to continue to do that. And there's nothing that really compares to a backcountry hunter from the longevity of their event, because the mountain is going to beat you up for several days generally before you're successful. Yeah. And so that is so unique, because if I go on a 7-day elk hunt and I'm successful on day 5, I've been really beaten up by the mountain for 5 days. And now all of a sudden I have the peak maximal amount of work I have to do. So it's a unique athlete, and anything you can do to make sure that you experiencing all of those variables happens before your hunt is going to improve everything. And, now that you've felt that heavy pack on your hips this morning, it won't feel quite as bad the next time and the next time and the next time. But that hip burn you get the first time of the season with the heavy pack on, you don't want to feel that on September 15th.
No. And, we were doing this on a pretty manicured trail. But you start looking off the trail, which is more reflective of very often what it looks like. Blow down, you're climbing over, climbing under. There's just thick vegetation. There are so many different things that are going to be additive to this demand on you when you're doing this, that as much as it's a great benefit for me to live a mile from that trail and be able to just go do it for a couple hours every night, the real benefit comes if I was doing it in the dark with a heavy load and having to cross country it rather than on a trail. I mean, if you hit a good game trail, all the better. But a lot of times when you're chasing those bugling elk,
no trail.
Yeah. And so I just hope people take from this the importance of being prepared, knowing where you're at, being realistic about it today. And when this video airs in, another 10 days or so, it's going to be even that much closer to hunting season. So we want people to thrive, to have success, enjoy it, bring the meat out without any spoilage, and look forward to doing it again the next year and the next year and the next year.
For sure.
So, well, Dustin, thanks so much. You guys, I know people think I'm a walking billboard, but you guys have made such a difference for me, and I just want other people, when they go out there, to not have their hunt just fade away after the first day. They dream about it. It's something they've wanted to do forever, or it's their one thing they look forward to every year. I want it to be as fulfilling and rewarding to them as possible, and making an investment in that now is going to pay huge dividends for them.
For sure. And I think what you guys did today is just like a scrimmage. And we know that like doing a scrimmage in football or basketball, doing a preseason game in football, basketball, the huge advantage of that is you can work out some of these quirks before it's too late. And a lot of hunters aren't doing that, and that's really missed in the hunting community. And I think the more that we apply kind of this scrimmage preseason philosophy on how can we work out some of these quirks so that when we pack in on September 15th, our system's pretty dialed. It's going to really help people thrive.
Yeah. Well, thanks for taking the time. Thanks for tolerating me. And you guys have made a pretty big investment in my elk hunting or my mountain hunting, and I appreciate that very much.
Appreciate you. It's been our pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.